Perplexity AI is super interesting to me. They're still being super aggressive with what they're developing, but I sometimes feel like they're getting lost. So I don't know about you if you feel that way too, but today we're going to dive into the latest features of Perplexity and just see where things are at because it is such a great tool to use when you want to do research. Absolutely, I believe we can get better results faster than something like a ChatGPT with web search. But with a little bit of extra prompting, ChatGPT can get there as well. So the question then becomes, is Perplexity AI really that useful? And if I look at some of the most interesting articles in recent days, is that they're still being quite aggressive with what they're doing. They're building out a lot of different features. They've just made a $52 billion bid for Google Chrome, which isn't even for sale yet. So it's quite aggressive. Maybe it's just a marketing ploy. They've got some really interesting tech that they're using behind the scenes, which is using stealth undeclared crawlers to evade website no-crawl directives. If you've ever worked in AI automation, so we do a lot of AI automations for clients at makebigmoves.ai. And when we start scraping websites, even though we've got all of the different tools that are out there for scraping, it's still quite a big challenge in order to pull in the right information. So the fact that these guys are figuring out scraping is just, maybe one of the most beneficial features of their entire tool. But then you've got also other incumbents, the big giants out there who want to make their tools. So Apple plans Siri AI upgrade to outpace Perplexity as Wall Street pushes $30 billion buyout report. There's a lot of really interesting things that are happening, but let's dive into Perplexity. And I'm going to start with actually the most interesting thing, first and foremost, which is their new browser called Comet. So here's the new browser. And, I'm quite mixed in terms of what I think about this because nobody really wants a new browser. We've already got Chrome and Firefox and whatever the one Apple was that they were using for a period of time, which I'm sure nobody uses anymore. Plus there's Edge and all sorts of different ones, but I don't think anybody wants to download a new browser. The part where it is interesting is you can use inside of their browser an assistant to help look up things. However, if we look at ChatGPT now with their agents, then they basically have the same feature, but inside of a cloud. And the cloud version makes a lot more sense to me for many reasons. I'm interested to see where they take this browser on a local platform instead of in the cloud. But anyway, let's give this a test. So I'm moving to Bali soon and I want to find a place to live. So I found this website called Bali Villa Hub. And we're just going to come up to the top right in the browser here, which you can't see, it's on the screen. Let me just drag this down. But in the top right, we've got this assistant button right here. I'm just going to click this assistant and bring this up. And we're just going to say on this page, find me a villa for between 20 million to 30 million per month. It should be in Canggu and it should be away from any construction. Provide me the links to each of the findings. It must also have AC. So I'm just going to set it this task and then I can click and send it off. And now it's going to review the source. It's going to look at all of the things that it can filter for and try and find me some results for what I'm actually looking for. So you can see I'm not touching this at all and it's already opened up the location. Now it's just selected Canggu for that location. And I imagine it's going to go through all of the other filters and set those filters as well. Look, it's just highlighted the whole page so it can understand what's on that page. And you can see what's happening over here on the right. So now I need to set the maximum price to 30 million. I'll adjust the second slider for the maximum value. And then it should start to look through and find all of the different results that I'm looking for. So I think that's pretty interesting. And it becomes really interesting when we can have multiple browsers pop up running all at the same time. So I'm going to let that work for the time being. I'm going to come back to that later. So now let's first dive into some of the big settings inside of Perplexity AI that would make it really beneficial to set up front. So you make sure you get results that are coming out on the back end that you're looking for. And this is perhaps the most important step of using any AI tool, no matter whether it's Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, or Perplexity or Grok or any of these others, is that we need to give it all of the right context first. So what I would do first and foremost is I would come in and I'll look for settings. So settings up here in the top right, we click these dots and we want to give instructions to Perplexity to customize how answers are focused and structured. So you can give it the type of tone that you want for your brand. You can tell it how you want the answers structured, how much context it should give you, how many links and sources it should look for. When you're on Perplexity Pro, it adds in more sources than if you were just using the free version. We're going to cover those in just a moment. But you would set all of those instructions first and foremost before we start diving in. Once you've done that, then we now have the ability to dive into a whole bunch of different features. And I have the Pro version here. You can get a lot done actually with Perplexity just on the free version. But I've signed up to the Pro version. Let's have a quick look at what's included on the Pro version. So you get 10 times as many citations in answers. You get access to the agentic browser, which we've started using. You get access to Perplexity Labs, which we're going to test. We've got uploaded unlimited file and photo uploads, extended access to Perplexity, image generation, limited access to video generation. And then it includes GPT-5 and Claude Sonnet 4. Now, the big difference that we should know about this is it says you get access to each of these, GPT-5 and Claude Sonnet 4, but it's actually Perplexity's model that has fine-tuned GPT-5 and Claude Sonnet 4. So we're actually going to do a test in this. Let's open up a new ChatGPT search and we'll turn on web search. And let's open up a new Perplexity search. And let's just do a basic search in each. So I'm just going to say here, how many paddle locations are there in Australia right now? And let's come across to ChatGPT and let's give that the exact same one. So we can see here, they've said 13 locations inside of here, and then it begins to map out all of the different ones that it's found with a nice image for us to look at as well. Now let's have a look over here in ChatGPT, and we've got here, see, like this is the other thing that I like about Perplexity is it gives you a straight answer immediately. ChatGPT seems to, waffle on a fair bit. So like here, I have no real idea what's actually going on. So it's saying about 12, about 25 courts, plus I got to read through all this stuff. Plus it doesn't really show me all of these clubs. So you can see like there's just a big difference in terms of how the information is presented based on a lot of, I would imagine, user data and what users are actually looking for. So the way that Perplexity fits into your tech stack is that it's more of a Google replacement instead of a ChatGPT replacement. So if I was to now write me an article about paddle in Australia and its benefits. So I mean, obviously that's a terrible prompt, but if I was to now give that to both of them, I'm not going to read through all of this, but I would definitely bet that the way that this is written is a lot more robotic than the more creative way that you could get ChatGPT to write. They actually look, fairly similar in terms of their outputs. But obviously if you look at anybody who's using both tools, everybody will say that the creative version of Perplexity is nowhere near as good as the creative versions of Claude or ChatGPT. For us internally, we use Claude predominantly for writing. So any blog posts, email, copy, social media, all that stuff is done with Claude. And we're starting to use ChatGPT a lot for figuring stuff out, especially because GPT-5 can think on its own as to whether it use extended thinking or if it's going to give you a quick answer. So I do like that version of AI where it figures that out for you. Plus, you can manipulate ChatGPT enough and give it some brand voice guidelines and excluded words and all of these types of things to make ChatGPT write fairly well as well. So it's pretty interesting. Now, the other thing that if you are interested in the higher versions of this is if you're a member of our community, we actually have a deals platform that you can get access to. And we have 3 months free on the Enterprise Pro plan for up to 50 seats. So it's up to $6,000. You do need to get approved for this. So it is for startups, but this is in the deals platform if you are somebody who has access to this from our community. Now, the other interesting parts of Perplexity are things like Perplexity Labs. So I want to give this a test. We're inside of Perplexity. So we can come back into, let's just start a new thread. And I've already done some research on Nano Banana through Google Gem. So I'm just going to copy this contents and I'm going to say, create me a slideshow based on the Nano Banana report below. Also verify the information and add anything else that you think will be relevant. So we're just going to copy that in. And we want to make sure that we're selecting labs. So we have all of these different functions down here. So we have a search function, we have a research function, which is our deep research reports. And then we have a labs function. And you can see here in the pro version, you can turn your ideas into completed docs, slides, dashboards, and more. So let's give that a go and see if it can come up with some slides for us for this report that we've generated with NanoBanana. Now, obviously, a lot of the things that we're doing with AI these days allows the AI to sit there and work for a few minutes. So I can see on the screen now that it's saying that this one's going to take 13 minutes in order to create that slideshow, which is totally fine because we can go and do some of the other things that we need to do and come back in 13 minutes time, an hour's time. It's going to be sitting there, right? And now it's done for us. So in that way, I'm not going to sit here and wait and just cut the video to the next part. I'm also going to skip through and we're going to come back and we're going to look at Comet and see where Comet is at again right now. So if I come back into here, it looks like it's come up with 4 villas in Chengdu that match all your requirements. So let's open up these in new tabs and have a look because I may actually reach out to these guys and get one. All right. So 2-bedroom Tibebanang. I need to learn these once I get there. So 2 bedrooms, 8 minutes drives to the beach, cleaning once a week, pool maintenance, $27,000 or $30,000 a month, including service. Let's have a look. I mean, it's not too bad. I do like the enclosed area for where you sit and stuff. Like that's one of the most important things for me. And I mean, it's actually pretty nice. That is, put that on the short list. Good selection there. Did it get the construction right? Let's check. Construction nearby? No. So they got that correct. This one, another 2-bedroom near Bali Paddle Academy. How good. Like that is the reason why I'm going to Bali is to play paddle. So let's have a look. That one looks, I mean, I don't like the Balinese style. So it's got no construction nearby, but I don't like these types of couches. If I want to be at home and I want to relax, I don't want to be sitting on a wooden couch where you bang your toes and your head and all of that type of stuff. So we're not going to keep that one in the list. This one here, let's have a quick look at the living area. So overall, I mean, yeah, I think they just need to put better couches in some of these. I see this all the time in Bali. They have really nice bedrooms, but not great living areas and no couches. Like if I'm going to sit down at night and watch Netflix, tune out, I want a great couch to settle on. That one looks like it could be comfy. This looks pretty cool. Oh, putt, how good. Might have to look at this one. So it's not too bad. I mean, it's more of the Balinese style, which I prefer, like the more minimalist, modern type stuff, but it's not too bad. So it's probably be on the short list as well and no construction nearby. So it's done a pretty good job. Like if I was to do this, I would have to go through and check all of this out by myself and like figure out all of these things. So overall, that's pretty good. Now, the part where it becomes interesting is if we can have many of these set up over your workday and you have multiple different workflows operating at the same time. I think that's where every single AI tool is heading. We're going to have so many different agents all working at one time. You log in the morning, you get your 5, 10, 15 agents started. You then go and chat with maybe your business partners or your small team that you have. You come back and you've got 10, 15, 20 tasks completed or at least started for you. So these are the skill sets that we need to learn in the modern day is like, how do we become, it's almost like becoming very neurodivergent and ADD and like having multiple things going on at once. AI is moving towards allowing the generalist to really excel. And I've been a generalist my whole life. It's been a blessing and a curse. It means I don't go deep into anything, which means I don't become an expert at anything. But it does allow me to do things like lead a company and understand every part of the business. So there is benefits in that, but it hasn't allowed me to go from like especially there's so many things that I could have developed over the years, but I never knew how to go from like a 0 to a 5 in development. This is what AI is allowing us to do. We can now build any type of thing that we want with AI. It's like having a junior person in that skill set in every area of business right now. It's going to move to expert level. So like learning how to manipulate all of these tools and you're more like an orchestrator, right? Like you're leading an orchestra that you need to understand how to push all of these tools forward each day. So that's the browser. Obviously they have a whole bunch of different widgets in here as well. So we've got all of these things here. I don't know. The other weird thing that I don't like about Perplexity, let's just come back into a normal browser here, is this Discover tab. Like I don't want a Discover tab inside of an AI tool. It's all just news. Like it's going to be just completely distracting. So I don't know if we can maybe, I guess we could like filter this to be a bit better. So at least we'd only get in sports or something and entertainment. Nah. but like, I don't think I want this inside of my Perplexity feed. So I find that quite strange. The other really great feature of every AI tool is these spaces. So whether you call them spaces or projects or gems, they're all the same thing, but these are probably one of the most valuable parts of these tools that everybody should be focusing on. This has all of the typical things that you would find inside of a project or a space. So you upload all of your files here. So remember, if we come back into our ChatGPT, if you've not seen that video, you can go back and look at it, but we have one for NAN. So we build in NAN every day for our clients, automating workflows, and we can upload all of our different files inside of NAN and then chat with them, get it to help us build new workflows and structure out workflows and figure out all sorts of different stuff. So that's what the value of these spaces are. You can add in all your files, whether it's technical files or if it's creative files. Add in any links. So if you're looking for URLs, and this is actually a great benefit of Perplexity. I think they do spaces really well. So we can add links here as well. Instructions. So this is instructions giving a lot of context of what you want this particular space to do. But the real feature that I like here is how easy it is to share this space. Like, I think every other tool needs to make it as easy as this in order to share this space, so that if you create one for yourself, you can share that with anybody in your company. You can share it with a contractor who might be helping you. So I think that is one of the big benefits of these spaces for Perplexity. The next part of Perplexity that I really love is the ability to use these different sliders in order to find a better answer for your questions. So like, especially diving into ones for academic papers and so forth. I spent years in the health and wellness space, and there's so much information in both the pharmaceutical industry as well as the natural health industry. So you don't really know any of the truth. That's why people like Andrew Huberman has taken off. So I like, if I'm making any creating any health question, is to use academic papers. At least that's giving us a little bit of a further source of truth, although a lot of that is funded as well by different sources that we probably shouldn't go into in this video. But it's at least getting us a step out of the conspiracy world from both sides. So this one, I'm just going to write, what's the best protocol for men in their 30s to increase testosterone naturally? So it's going to look through all of the different sources of academic papers, and it's going to then give me the most probable truth, or the best sources that we have today in order to help with that. So it's actually changing quite a lot. It's starting to do all of that research now. It's already down to 6 minutes. So it's probably not going to take 13 minutes like it said, but we're going to come back and we can check that again very soon once that has run. Now, the other thing it can do, it can create images. So let's just get that started. I believe we can see here that Perplexity are using GPT Image 1. They're using DALL-E, Flux, and Gemini. So users can select which model to use in their settings, Perplexity to automatically choose the best one on their query. So when you do add in a new request for an image, then it's going to search, or it's going to create the image with what it thinks. So, okay, so back to the question that we had for the academic sources. So best natural testosterone for men in their 30s. Most comprehensive approach combine training, sleep, stress management, targeted nutrition, specific supplementation, and potential testosterone increases ranging from 10 to 25%. So you can see here, giving us a few ideas, all of these types of things that we can be using. The fact that you get this inside of Perplexity, which has a few other features that you can use, is also super beneficial. And I imagine if you can compare it to some of the more academic-based AI websites that are out there, then this was probably fairly on par. So if you do have any academic AI resources that you like, or websites that you like, tools that you're using, then pop them in the comments below so that I can do a deep dive and really compare both of them as well. So the image generation that we asked it to do has been completed right now, and it's actually pretty cool. I mean, it never gets paddle right. Like, I don't know any AI tools that get paddle right. It's always got weird nets everywhere and people about to hit each other with the racket. Like, this happens all the time. But the overall aesthetic is actually quite cool. I don't mind that. It's got, almost like the Bali Hills that you see in the background there. You've got it at sunset. Very cool. So the other filters that we have here is also social. So we can find discussions and opinions. That's also quite good to find sentiment on certain topics. And you can also look at finance. So searching SEC filings, and you can see that there's quite a lot of articles online where they're talking about Perplexity is helping them trade different stocks and crypto and Forex and all types of different markets because it has the ability to search into these types of filings and pull out all the information that would otherwise take many hours of research in order to find. So it does make those things very easy. So the slideshow that I have asked it to create on Nano Banana is ready, and I've not looked at this yet. Let's just zoom in a little and check this one out together. So overall, I like the start of where we're at here. So we're saying here, let's just zoom out one, let's go view full screen. So here it's giving us a little breakdown of the mystery begins. So a little bit of context, I imagine. I mean, I don't like how we're cutting out a lot of the stuff down here. Obviously, this is a huge fail. Like, I don't know what's happening here. I can't really move anything. It's not getting the text accurate. So big fail there. The big reveal. So here's what happened. So more context. But it's very strange how, like, I can't change any of this. I can't move these things around. And it's cutting out part of the slide. So they obviously need to do something there. This button doesn't need to be that big, and it can be down in the corner. But overall, it's starting to step this out. It just looks like it's very simple, right? Like, there's no crazy features here in terms of design features. It's really just breaking it down into a website and adding in a few images like this current landscape. So yeah, I don't like how it's cutting off part of the images, but overall, I mean, to get this started and not have to do a slideshow yourself, I absolutely love that idea. So if they can improve upon this, then I think it's going to be a really great feature. Obviously, we need the ability to export that. So if we come back to here, we can download the code, we can export the slides as PDF, and we can view the assets. So let's have a look at the PDF version. I mean, it hasn't really exported it, has it? So like I said, it's just the assets are created as if it's a website, and then they've structured it into a slideshow. So it's like thinking about slides in a very different way. I do like that in the sense, but obviously there's quite a long way to go in terms of making this ready to go out of the box for if you are creating a slideshow for a presentation, for a video, for, your work colleagues, whatever that is. There's probably going to be a little bit of extra editing to do on top at the moment. So I'm actually quite impressed with Perplexity. I haven't used it for a while, but they do have some great features. Now, is it in my top 3 AI tools that I would choose? No, I don't think it is. But is it a tool that could be super beneficial to you and your workflow? Absolutely, if you are somebody that really requires research to be done on a much deeper level than any of the other tools. So maybe you're writing specific blog posts or like mapping out scripting content that has to be super accurate in terms of the quality of information that's very well cited and sourced, then Perplexity could be a great benefit for you as well. If you are somebody who wants to use the agentic feature that is inside the browser, I don't know. I'm still not fully sold on that. I don't know if a new browser is the option. A cloud browser where we can have many browsers operating in the cloud like ChatGPT does. Absolutely. I'm all for that. But having an actual physical browser, I'm yet to see any of the real benefits of that, but they're of course going to improve that. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. But overall, if you just want a Google replacement, then I would probably trust this a whole lot more than I would trust a tool like ChatGPT, especially in the fact that you have to turn on web search for ChatGPT to search the web and be super accurate. So Perplexity is probably going to be a better tool for that because you don't have to remember to turn it on all the time. If you're looking for social media analysis, this tool plus Grok is probably going to be a good benefit for you as well. So there are a lot of great use cases. I mean, for $20 a month, if you're a business making money, it's probably going to be beneficial to just have it sitting there. Even if you use it twice a month, it's still saving you probably hundreds of dollars in hours that you would have to hire someone to really go out and find those sources for your questions. So it's probably beneficial for that sense. But if you're someone starting out and you're trying to make money with AI, then I would start with probably some of the other tools that have a better ecosystem of all the different features that would help you make money a whole lot faster. So those are all the features that you need to know about when it comes to Perplexity AI. And if you are interested in more AI tools reviews, then make sure you subscribe and head to bigmoves.ai. We're doing tools and template reviews. We're creating a whole bunch of really great information in order for you to execute faster, implement AI into your workflows, and only make sure that you're focusing on the stuff that matters and disregarding any of the stuff that doesn't. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.